All right, this one is for user LaShonda Williams. Hey, LaShonda. So I'm not going to read the whole post in one. If you want more context on the post, the link is in the description. This video is for the OP. So I'm in a fairly new relationship, dating my boyfriend for 5 months, moved in a couple of weeks ago. So you're talking about the fact that the little things I mentioned was the way he talks is very lewd. Like, we'll constantly talk about women's private pussy, like a lot. Didn't think much of it. I thought maybe it's because he's been hanging with the dudes and that might change. Now living together, watching a show, and there's a lot of teen young girls on it, and he says, "Oh, look at these young girls," in a weird kind of tone. Ugh, I feel gross just doing that, but I hope that was like kind of a good simulacrum of what he does. Because I want to be an actor. I don't. I'm 32 and he's 37. And then you talk about the niece. Okay, so my main concern with this is that he's said such an inappropriate thing in front of his missus while watching a movie. Now, some guys, look, in terms of your comment about he's just been hanging out with guys are gross. I'm just going to be straight up with you. Guys are gross. You know it. I know it. Everyone else watching this video knows it. Guys are gross, okay? And the ones that aren't are even weirder, right? But here's the deal. My concern is, or my first concern is about context. He should know better than to say things like that in front of you. I never talk that way around my partner because and I got to be honest, I don't really talk that way around my friends either. Like, if I think a young girl's hot, like 18, I'm 32. If I think a young girl's hot, I will think it and then I will relieve that thought. Because the truth is, it doesn't matter. Now, because I'm not going to fuck him. So the fact that he's expressing these tells me a couple of things. A, he could be looking for your opinion on his comments. What a lot of people do, a lot of men, I've seen this, women do it too, but just in the context here of men will say something to test the waters. I'll give you an example. If a guy meets a girl at a pub and he'll mention something about anal, just to see what the reaction is, or a guy meets a guy and a girl are in a pub at the same time and he goes, he mentions a threesome or something, just to test the waters. Guys do this. They do water testers, right? So it could be the case that he's doing that. My concern is that he is so out and out with it while in a space with his missus. And the comment on his niece in that same weird voice is weird. Definitely turned me off. Again, I ignored it. I'm honestly not even going to say anything because I'm at a point in life where I don't care to change people or wait for them to change. Look, I don't disagree with you. I think that, you're 32 and he's 37. You're right. You're 32. You don't have to be dealing with this shit, right? And he's 37. He should know better. And if he doesn't, that tells me that he is either naive or he's incompetent, or he just doesn't pay attention. How do you get 37 years into life? And you got to remember, this guy grew up in the 80s and 90s, okay? And he's seen everything since then, and he still doesn't understand that it's probably not the most, it's probably not the best thing to say that, talking about women's pussies and how young girls are hot. Look, young girls are hot. I just don't fucking say it because everybody knows that every guy in the room's thinking it. And guys that try to connect with me using pornography, or guys that try to connect with me by saying, "Oh yeah, I'd fuck her," I don't have those guys in my life. They're gross. They're just gross. Like, fuck off, mate. Go watch some porn, relieve yourself, and then come back and we'll have a chat about something else. Like, it's just gross. What do you think? Would you say these are red flags, or am I paranoid? You're certainly not paranoid. You are not paranoid. These are red flags. Now, the question is, what do you do about it? Okay. If I was in your position, I would have a chat with him. and I would be prepared for anything in that chat. You need to be prepared for the whole conversation going pear-shaped. In my last couple of videos, I mentioned that if you're going to have a hard chat with someone, you need to decide what you want out of that chat. So for you, you need to first of all prepare for the worst. And we're all thinking it, pedophile. That's what we're all thinking. We just don't want to say it. And I'm not going to accuse him of being a pedophile. But the question is this man's behavior appropriate? And especially with the mention of the niece, if I was that girl's father, if I was that niece's father, that man is never, ever, ever, ever spending time alone with my daughter, ever. Okay? To the point where I will actively disinvite him to family gatherings and the like because I don't want him around my daughter. And she will never know that. I don't have kids at the moment, but when I do, if I get a girl like that in my life, he's staying the fuck out of my life. Simple as that. So I don't know if that informs your decision, but I do know that you need to have a chat to him about it. First of all, you need to ask him why he does it. And really listen and try to understand why he does it. Why is it that you do X, Y, Z? You mentioned young girls and stuff. And he's probably not going to have a good answer for that. It's just going to be some fucking, it's not that big a deal. Kind of is. Now, another reason that people kind of obfuscate and don't take responsibility for their actions is because most people don't think about their actions. They just do. We just operate on the momentum of our past, right? So he's probably done this all his life. And now he finds himself at 37 instead of 19, still checking out 18-year-old girls, and that's totally inappropriate. So don't expect him to have the answer for the question that you ask, but expect him to at least be willing to entertain it. He needs to be able to entertain the question of why he does what he does and have a think about it. Don't push your morality on him. Just figure out whether or not he's willing to actually have a look at his behavior, right? The second thing you need to figure out is what if, okay? I think about the worst possibility and then I think about what I will do in that situation. I ride a motorcycle and I have thought hundreds of times about what I do if I get hit by a car. You get up and you get the fuck out of the road, right? But that's my process, right? Step 1, and then you go step 2, then step 3. So what you need to do is if he's unwilling to change his behavior and you can't accept it, it's breakup time. If he's unwilling to change his behavior and you can accept it, well, okay. If he's willing to change his behavior, that's a good thing. If he's willing to change his behavior, be prepared for him failing in that because habits die hard. Old habits die hard. It's just true. But the question is he willing to take a look at and analyze why he does what he does? That's really my concern here. Like, it's not necessarily his behavior that is a concern, but is he aware of it? Does he know that he's doing these things? Is he aware of how other people see him, in particular women, in particular mothers and fathers, and in particular you? Like, I don't want to be in a relationship with the girl that I'm in with one now. I don't want my girlfriend to look at me and go, "You are disgusting." I'll be like, why? Like, why? I try to be the best man I can, and I fail all the time, but I still fucking try, right? And so if she tells to me, "That is disgusting," I'm going to take a real look at myself and figure out why the woman that I love, I trust, whose character I trust, whose opinions I value, sees me being gross and being predatory. So that's what I would do. Have a conversation with him and find out if he understands his behavior, if he's willing to take a look at it, if he's willing to admit it, if he's willing to change it, any of that stuff. Don't push your moralities on him. Just ask him questions. The best way to have a conversation is to ask questions. It's the Socratic method. It's from Socrates. Because questions are how you get at the truth. I hope that conversation goes well, and I wish you luck. See ya.